Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to look at the subreddit r/entitledparents, where people tell us their stories of crazy mums and dads who think they're entitled just because they have kids. If you're new around here, please hit subscribe down below so that you never miss out on another video. But for now, let's sit back, relax, and enjoy some Reddit stories. Entitled Aunt steals game and holds it for ransom. Cast: Cousin, CS, Cool Uncle, CU, Entitled Aunt, EA, Kid 1 and Kid 2, aged about 6 to 10, and of course, young me. For the setup, I have a cousin, 1 year younger, that grew up with me, and basically is like another brother to me. Back in the Nintendo 64 era, he got Zelda Ocarina of Time and wanted to play it with me. Luckily, we were both on vacation and his father, Cool Uncle, decided to rent a beach house and have me over for a family vacation for a couple of weeks. My mum and dad couldn't go, but he also invited 2 other uncles and their families to go. Among themselves was Entitled Aunt and her 2 young kids, K1 and K2. As soon as we arrived, we laid out the ground rules with K1 and K2. My cousin took his Nintendo 64 for us to play Zelda, and we were very excited to play it. But it is not a multiplayer game. We did have, however, Mario Kart, a very multiplayer game, and would be glad to play it with them. But there would be times where we were gonna just want to play Zelda. If they did not bother us during Zelda time, we would switch games once in a while and play Mario Kart with them. Everyone agreed, and on we started day 1. It was a good day. After getting back home from the beach, we played Zelda. Kids will be kids, so they bothered us a bit to switch games, but were mostly good. So we switched games anyway, played until tired, then went back to Zelda. It was all good. We thanked them for letting us have our Zelda time, they seemed happy, and we said our good nights and went to sleep. Day 2 had us wake up quite early, excited to go further into Zelda before anything else in the day. But when we got to the 64, where is Zelda? It was not where we left it, plugged into the console in the living room. Everything was there, everything except Zelda. So we started looking everywhere for it, except I knew we were not gonna find it. Since I was sure I left it plugged in, it was clearly stolen. And I suspected K1 or K2 did it to force us to play the other game. So my plan was to not let them play it because Zelda was missing, and we needed their help to find it. Which would make their plan fail and one of them confess sooner or later. My cousin agreed to the plan, so I tell them no one was going to play until Zelda was found. Asked them to please help us, and we started searching, turning the whole house upside down. After a while, in comes Entitled Aunt with a brilliant idea. Hey, since you can't find the other game, why don't you just let my kids play this game? No one is playing the video game until we find where the game is. No one here is a thief, so it must be somewhere, right? Very clever, young me. That will get you a confession. Young me was not having it. I knew one of the kids must have stolen it, but I was too naive not to see the real thief. So, to make sure no one would even try to play anything, I took the power cord out of the 64 and kept it with me while searching. An hour of searching went by. We had looked everywhere in the house and were looking again and again. Entitled Aunt kept insisting we let her kids play. I kept insisting we keep looking. I was sure one of the kids was gonna crack soon. Entitled Aunt got the rest of the family to ask me too, but I would not budge. Finally, Entitled Aunt says something quite peculiar. You know, I am sure if you let your cousins play the game, you will find your game right after. That makes no sense. How would letting them play help us with our search? Oh, but I am sure you'll find it right after they play. Even dense little me had to catch on at some point. Here I was, blaming the kids, while the thief was there all along. Not only that, but that it was a freaking grown-up adult. That made me more angry than anything ever. So I said, no one in this house is ever going to have any fun again until the game magically appears. Well, maybe it would not have vanished if you didn't hog the console all for yourself and let my little ones play once in a while. First of all, I did not hog anything. We all played and had fun, as we all agreed. Second, it's not your console or your games. You don't get a say in who gets what time, if any. Don't raise your voice against me. Did your mother not teach you any manners? We keep searching. Entitled Anne was angry. Here was a little boy standing up to her BS. She thought it would be easy to push me around. She went to my other uncles and aunt individually to complain about me, and they all pulled me aside to give me a talk at a point or another to tell me to stop, just let them play, and I was being disrespectful. For every one of those talks, I said, Auntie-EA stole my game, hid it, and is now trying to blackmail me into letting her kids play or else I won't get it back. I will not support her behaviour. She is a terrible person and someone has got to teach their kids right from wrong. She sure won't. I also said that very loudly because I knew she was eavesdropping to see if it would work and she needed a lesson. Yes, young me was already into teaching people lessons. My family all decided to stay out of this since it was clear she was in the wrong, but they couldn't force her to do anything, and told Entitled Anne to deal with me herself. So we stayed on our standstill. The day went on. Unfortunately, I was getting tired and wanted to play Zelda. All my plans were getting me nowhere and I was just punishing myself more than anything. So I hatched another plan. I went to Entitled Anne and said, you know, if we happen to find my game, I won't even play it at first. I just let my cousins play the other game since they were such nice little helpers. In 1 minute, Entitled Anne comes back and says, hey, I found your game. It was just behind that lamp. Right, the lamp I looked behind 300 times. Sure, must have just missed it. So, true to my word, I put in Mario Kart and let my cousins play. One race. Yup, just one. And I take the game out and say, hope you had your fun, but your mum did something really bad to have you play this, so you won't get to play it ever again unless she comes to me and apologizes. What now, you other word for a female dog? What will you value more, your pride or your beloved children, huh? Entitled Anne was angry again. Her kids would not stop crying and asking mummy to say she is sorry. She tried, once again, to turn everyone against me. Some tried to talk to me, to which I just repeated that either she says sorry to me or no more fun was going to be had at that house. I overheard her pressuring my cool uncle to take the game away and punish me. And his reply to her was, you have made this whole mess up, it's your fault. Deal with it yourself. I played Zelda, and only Zelda, with my cousin. We took the video game whole setup out and locked it in our room. I slept hugging that 64. Entitled Anne did not want to give in. She tried to distract the kids whenever they were in the house, telling them to go play with their toys or something. But kids always want to play with what they can't or don't have. They kept asking me to play the game, to which I replied, ask your mother why you can't play the game. Although Entitled Anne is the one that brought this whole bad situation about, it felt really bad to have to keep punishing the kids for what she did, but it was all I could do. 3 days later, she came to me and apologized. Said she only did it because she loves her kids very much. I forgave her, said it was understandable, but that it was no excuse, and she went through that the wrong way. And even though I forgive her, I will still hate her. But her kids are welcome to come play with us again. The rest of our time was uneventful. We all played like in day one, had our fun, and I mostly ignored Entitled Anne. I also kept true to my word and hate her to this day. This guy is like the smartest kid ever. What? How did he know to hold his aunt ransom to play his game? Like, what? This guy's insane. This is going to be a really quick just intermission. I just want to say I have another channel, Fake Jake. It's in the description as my other Reddit channel where I do the shorter subreddits. It's like choosing beggars, white people Twitter, and all the funny ones like that. So if you want to check that out, please go do it. Link's in the description. Thank you. On to the next story. Anti-vax entitled mother at the urgent care. Storytime, kids. So, school just let out a few days ago where I'm at. Padre has been setting me up to take me out of public school and into homeschooling. When looking through all of my papers, looking for the ones he needs, he notices that I haven't had one of my shots yet. Meningococcal meningitis, I believe it was. So, he set me up for a doctor's appointment to get it, just so all of my vaccines are up to date. So, today, he took me to the local UC, since it was easier than the hospital, to get me fixed up. When we walked into the waiting area, there wasn't anyone there except this lady and her 2 kids. Those 3 would be our anti-vax entitled mum and entitled unvaccinated kids. The anti-vax mum looked around 32 to 35, and her 2 crotch goblins looked between the ages of 6 to 7 and 10 to 12. The anti-vax mother was on her phone playing Toon Blasters, not paying attention to her 2 daughters yelling loudly and yanking each other's hair. I was a bit annoyed, but ignored them. I sat in the chair farthest from the group as Padre went up to the window to fill out my papers. I take out my phone and start messing around as I wait. About 5 minutes pass with no trouble until I hear giggling in the chair next to me. Now, after my last entitled mother experience, and even before that, I really never liked kids. They were kind of like demons with flesh in my opinion. So when I glance over at the unvaccinated kid, I kind of had a, oh brother, kind of look. Wow, you have a fancy phone? Me, already a little agitated. Yeah, thanks. Now, studying this kid up close, it takes everything I have to not actually vomit. She looks like death. Seriously. Runny nose, pale skin, dark circles, sneezing and coughing uncontrollably. She also has a ring of food and drink stains around her mouth and hands, as well as all over her shirt. Like, really, she ought to be old enough to know how to clean herself up. The other unvaccinated kid is then suddenly on my other side, looking like unvaccinated kid 1, except for all the stains. She is also looking at my phone. They both stare at me, looking through my Twitter feed for quite some time until I get the infamous question. So, do you have any games on your phone? No, I don't actually. Are you sure? Me, annoyed. Yes, I'm pretty sure. Another moment of silence passes. Well, can we play on your phone anyway? We're bored. I don't think so. Why? We're bored. Why don't you go play with the toys over there? I point to the kids' play area. Mummy said we aren't allowed to touch anything over there because we're sick. For a moment, I say nothing. If these kids weren't allowed to touch the toys because they were sick, then why in Sam's hell did they think it was okay to put their sticky little paws on my phone? I quickly stand back and back away from them, over to where Padre was sitting. The 2 didn't follow, but instead ran back to their mother. For a few peaceful minutes, there was quiet. Then I have this whale of a woman, the anti-vax mother, looming over me. She didn't say anything for a moment, just stared at me. I kind of ignore her until she starts speaking. "Excuse me, young lady?" Yeah? "My kids say that you won't let them play on your phone. Why won't you?" Me, glancing at them. Isn't it a bit obvious? They're sick. "So what?" Me, visibly confused. I don't want to get sick? So, I'm not going to let them touch my things? "Well, you should. It's healthy for you. It builds up your body's natural defense system." Oh, wonderful. An anti-vax mum. I kind of chuckle a little at the irony of me being here to get vaccinated, and now I'm talking with an anti-vax parent. Padre catches whiff of our conversation and chimes in. "Well, those natural defenses don't seem to be working, miss. Maybe consider getting your walking, talking pandemics away from me and my daughter." She gasps, all offended. That's when N finally opens the door and calls my name. Padre gets up, and so do I. We go back and do all the checkup stuff. Hi, wait, you get the gist. Then, she begins leading us to our room before suddenly the anti-vax mum steps in front of her. "Oh, excuse me, miss, No, I will not let this horrible parent poison their child again." "Excuse me?" "This vile man is giving his child sickness and trying to infect her with autism. I will not stand for it. She will not be vaccinated." Me and Padre are baffled. How had this lady known I was getting vaccinated? The nurse asked this question for us. "The lady at the front desk told me. Vaccines are awful and vile, and I will not let this girl, no matter how rude she is, be injected with autism." The nurse, looking like she has dealt with this before. "Madame, I'm not going to ask you again. Move aside or I will contact the police." That got her to move. She blew past us before she paused, turned, and then suddenly reached and grabbed my elbow. The anti-vax mum, whispering, "You're coming with me. I'll keep you safe from vaccinations. My daughters like you also. They've always wanted another sister." Me, yanking away, "Back off, you crazy woman." The nurse quickly ushers us to our room, while another nurse comes and escorts anti-vax mum away. All the while, she starts yelling obscenities and calling me names and autistic. So yeah, some fun at the clinic. Never found out what happened to her or her spawn. All I know is the front desk lady got fired for giving out patient information without consent. I have to say though, anti-vax parents are a different breed. What the heck? When she said, "Oh, you're coming with me, my kids have always wanted another sister," that was some crazy talk. Like, even if she wasn't an anti-vax parent, that's crazy. Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now, or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like. And if you want to submit your own stories, then you can do so by joining the Discord in the top link in the description. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.